Övning 1. Vi börjar med att jogga igång blodcirkulation. Sviktande fötter. Skaka i axlarna. Sträck fingrarna.
Övning 2. Rörelse på ryggen och axlarna. Stå med fötterna något isär. Sjunk ihop framåt nedåt med böjd nacke och rygg och böjda knän. Rulla upp och lyft armarna utåt uppåt mot taket och sträck på ryggen. Vi sjunker ner och vi rullar upp. Kryp ner mot golvet och sträck upp mot taket. Böj. Res och lyft armarna utåt uppåt. Sjunker vi ner igen och vi rullar upp.
This is what you've been listening to now, this very first minute. This is a little cult classic. As some of you might know, I collect old radio shows, and this is a very interesting and strange and little old-time radio show from Sweden called Morgonpasset, who actually was a gymnastic program during the 70s. This is so much Swedish 70s as it gets. This is the three gymnastic leaders, Kjell Grane, Karin Lindén and Anders Lind. I bought this for one reason. I had this record before, and even though I've never been doing these exercises, and I probably never will, I had this record, listen to it every now and then, and it's a little bit of child nostalgia, but the record was in sorry, the record was in pretty bad shape. Then I throw it away, and now I found a much better copy. And here we have the exercises. Music lovers of YouTube and vinyl community, good evening. Welcome to JorgenS and a very nice spring evening here in Sweden. We've been having mixed sun and clouds in the sky today, but right now it's a very, very nice spring evening outside. And felt it was a good time to do some summary of what I've been finding this month. It's time for, even though May isn't over, it's time for this month's vinyl and CD update. May have been a little lower month, but I'm pretty much okay with that, because I think it's good to have some lower periods when I can catch up with what I've been finding previous months and listen through them first, so I won't be all that much behind. So I'm perfectly alright with that. To save myself for the coming summer, that normally is the main period of finding records. But it hasn't been all that horrible either. I've been doing some great findings, even though in 90 and or 85% of them I have been finding during these past 2 days. Today I did my monthly tour around the flea markets and second-hand stores here in Sundsvall, and yesterday I bought very much jazz CDs. Actually, this has been a great month for jazz albums, finally. So finally I can show some great jazz albums. Felt like an eternity. It's going to be full-length vinyls and full-length CDs and one CD single. So let's go on with it. The CD singles first. It's not the best shape, unfortunately, but I bought it still because I wanted one of this until I find a better copy of it. Depeche Mode with Precious from 2005, and the album Playing the Angel. Very interesting. This one I found today for a very low price. Alanis Morisette, Jagged Little Pill. Very interesting how I'm always seems to be way behind everybody. In 1996, everybody talked about this one and it was so great. And 20 years later, I realized that maybe I should buy this and then give it a try. Because I like ironic, I started to enjoy Alanis Morissette a lot, so it's going to be very interesting, even though it might be 20 years too late, but it's going to be very interesting. And if we're sticking with 1996, if this would have been 1996 and someone would have told me 20 years from now you would buy an album with this artist, I would have said, hell no, never. I always disliked the music of Beck. But today I actually, not today, but this month, I actually bought Odelay from 1996. But actually I did like, there was one exception, I did like Where It's At from this album. I think that is a funky and great 90s track. I like very, very much. It was someone at the vinyl community who actually showed this, I think, and also gave some preview on songs from this album. I don't remember who it was, but it got me interested in it, so it's going to be very interesting. Some Swedish records before I go to the huge stack of albums, jazz albums on CD. This is Cajsa Lisa Ejemyr, who was a Swedish soap opera actress, played in various soap operas during the late 90s, but she also had a recording career, and she has a smooth and sweet and laid-back voice, pretty good singer, but the main reason why I like her albums very much is because she has a couple of producers that is doing a sound on behind her that is magnificent. She has produced by the same producer who did Robin's first albums, Johan Lindström and Ulf Ike. And it is sweet 90s soul, laid-back style, just like Robin's first songs, also those who were big in the USA. So I think that it's going to be very interesting to listen to Cajsa Lisa Ejemyr's album. That is titled Vad jag vill ha och lite till, What I Want and a little bit more. And when we're on actresses who have been recording albums, this is Swedish comedian and actress Lena Nyman and her album Bloss, who is nickname for smoke. And I like Lena Nyman very much as an actress. She's a great comedian. She has been doing so much funny stuff, little bitchy style and raspy voice, and she's been doing great stuff with legends Hasse Tage and some great movies. I'm right now reading her autobiography, but then I saw that this was actually produced by Swedish singer-songwriter Staffan Hellstrand that I like very, very much. So it's a risk taker. It's a blind buy. It could be bad, it could be crappy, but it's going to be interesting to hear what Staffan Hellstrand has done with this actress, actually. So now let's move on to the jazz CDs. 6 jazz CDs. Starting off with maybe one of the best in the stack. Well, I only listened to 2 of them. But this is Charlie Shavers, trumpet player, who had played with a lot of small band swing during the 40s. This is a chronological classic release, a compilation with songs from 1944 and 1945. This is so awesome. I've been listening to this one actually, and it is small band swing from the 40s, laid back, sophisticated small band swing. I like it very, very much. And this is also interesting here, picture that I got very happy to see. Take a look at this. This is actually a picture disc, 78 RPM picture disc. There were actually done picture disc during the 40s, 50s. And this is actually a picture disc release from the Vogue records. The interesting thing is that when I was working at the second-hand store about 10 years, more than 10 years ago, I actually got in one of these picture discs on 78 RPM that contained Charlie Shavers, and I googled it because I thought it was very strange, and it turned out that actually there are American communities that members are collecting these kind of 78 picture discs with Charlie Shavers from the Vogue. And I still regret to this day that I didn't buy 8 RPM. But it was fun to see this picture once again. Moving on, so this won't be a video that takes eternity. There is one big band leader that I have been grown very fond of lately, for the past couple of years, that I like very much. A big band leader with a very sad story. He was one of the premier soloists in some of the bigger big band leaders recordings. He played with some of the biggest names, and those of you who have heard Tommy Dorsey's song Marie might remember the name Berigan. He played with the big ones, as I said. He also had some smaller bands, but he also had a big band during the 30s and until his tragic death in 1942. He died very young because he had huge problems with alcoholism, unfortunately. But lately it's become pretty easy to find Benny Berigan records, and I have a couple of great Benny Berigan recordings as before. And today I found, not today but yesterday, I found 3 albums on CD with Benny Berigan. I was very happy about that. Released on something called Jazz Records, with the jazz spelled with 2 S instead of 2 Z. Sounds a little bit low budget, but it's still Benny Berigan recordings that is very interesting. Benny Berigan and the Rhythm Makers, Volume 1, 36 and 1938. And here is Volume 2, 1938, Devil's Holiday. I got I thought it was very strange. It's a very strange inside book here. Take a look at this picture. This is a picture of Benny Berigan's band from 1938, standing outside of the Stanley Theatre in Pittsburgh. But Benny Berigan himself is not on the picture, and in the picture, under the picture they have been written, Benny Berigan, not shown, is probably in the bar next door. I don't know, I felt it was a little bit disrespectful to assume that he would be in the bar next door drinking just because he had alcoholism, and print this in the record. I don't know, I felt it was a little bit strange to do it. But it contains interesting interviews and comments by some, I think it is journalists here. under each song. So it's going to be very interesting to listen and to read. And to top it all off, how about this? I've been listening to this one actually. This concert, live concert, recording from broadcast from Paradise Restaurant. This is, as I said, a concert with Benny Berigan, a full concert. They haven't been cut in any songs. This is a concert from start to finish, with introductions and everything. And this is a great concert. It feels really great to have this Benny Berigan on concert actually. So very happy to get these. Another big band leader that is very much forgotten and that I actually don't know that much about is a big band leader who goes by the name of Ambrose. I don't recall his real name, so put the real name right under here. But Ambrose had his peak during the late 20s and early 30s, and this is recordings from 1927 to 1935. And the interesting here is that these are recordings from the Mayfair Hotel in London during these years. So this is actually the recordings from live recordings from the late 20s, which is I'm very happy actually to have. So it's going to be very interesting. And I also bought this double CD set with Ambrose and his orchestra. This is 1930s recordings. So, full-length vinyls and more jazz. This album I actually thought I had. I was a little doubtful when I saw it, but I took a chance, I took a risk and thought to myself, okay, I taken a chance, maybe making a fool out of myself. But when I got home and checked my jazz record collection, it turned out that I didn't have it at all. So it was very good thing to buy. The alternate Benny Goodman and Frenesy plus 15 previously unissued tracks by Benny Goodman Sextet and Orchestra. And interesting here is that Benny Goodman Sextet contains Count Basie on the piano. Some very interesting stuff here. This is alternative takes of several songs or songs that haven't been released before, and some classic tracks also. So it's very interesting jazz music. And finally, in this series of jazz records, we have Swedish big band leader Tore Erling with singers Britt Inger, Drejlik and Stig Gabrielsson. Tore Erling was one of the biggest Swedish big bands during the late 30s and 40s. Now, leaving the jazz to more modern stuff. This is Danish singers Sanne Salemonsen and Annie Linnet, and their album Krig og kaerlighed. I hope I pronounce it pretty good anyway, Salemonsen. This album is from 1990, and this title track is the main single. It's pretty good title track, and I like Sanne Salemonsen, so I had to have it. And Alla Made His Heaven, Madonna, and the Who's That Girl album. This is upgrade. I have this album on a cassette copy in horrible condition, so now I finally have a real copy in great condition. It's a really great condition of this album, so it's great to have in a real version. 70s music, 10cc, the original soundtrack from 1975, containing their big hit single I'm Not in Love. and a song that's going to be very interesting. I think it's a song cycle called A Nuit à Paris, with a little bit reservation for my French. I think that means One Night in Paris. It's a song cycle in 3 songs. It's going to be very, very interesting. My 10cc collection starts growing big, as is my Isaac Hayes collection, because now I have Groove-a-thon from 1976. Gatefold. Very, very interesting. And it also contains a huge poster. So hope this is just as good as the other Isaac Hayes albums that I got. And another of my 70s favorites, Carole King and the album Music from 1971. This is actually a Spanish release. Once again, I showed Fantasy when I bought it just recently, and that one was a Spanish release. The only difference is that that one was said in Spanish. This one is written in English, actually. This is going to be very, very interesting. And more 70s soul, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and the Reaching for the World from 1976. Minor cutout though, but still it's sealed. So I might do a sealed to revealed on this album in the near future. And the impressions, and we're talking here about the same impression that Curtis Mayfield started in. This is an album, the first impressions from 1975, released on Curtis Mayfield's label Cartoon, but this was the final release by Impressions on Curtis Mayfield's label. The album after this was released on another label, and Impressions and Curtis Mayfield finally drifted apart and disbanded. So interesting album. I listened to this one and it's really interesting, even though I'm lacking of a little faster song. It would be interesting to have a little faster song, but still it is a very relaxing and great album. So with that, I hope that you enjoyed my little walkthrough of my findings during May. It's going to be interesting to see what June has to offer now when we're getting closer to summer. It's going to be interesting overall to see what the summer has to offer. There are some contests out there that I'm going to do responses to, and I think it's a time to do another year celebration. But I won't do it with a thread this time. But still fun to do year celebrations. So until next time, I hope that each and every one of you have a really nice weekend, and take care. Bye bye.